Let's move now to the ENCA Money Desk. Rupiwa Madzene standing by from home via Skype. Good evening, Rupiwa. Many sectors, of course, affected by the lockdown. Our president speaking about it a little earlier, and the very delicate balancing act. The property sector has been hard hit, of course.
Of course, Sally, we are seeing that, as you've just mentioned, many sectors being affected by the lockdown. And one of the most crucial sectors actually in South Africa's economy is the property sector, which has been affected by the lockdown. So we're going to be having a conversation around that this evening. So I'm going to be talking to Malcolm Horne from Broll Properties, just to give us a sense of what's happening. Malcolm, many thanks for your time this evening. If you could just paint a picture for us in terms of the current landscape of the commercial property sector during this current period.
Thanks, Rafu. And I think, during this period, it was tough. Obviously, with the full lockdown in force, most of the commercial properties came to an absolute standstill. Tenants were vacated and weren't operating. So it was really, really a tough time in hard lockdown. And since then, and we all thought that would last 21 days, since then, and we've gone into a lesser of a lockdown period, and things, I think, have started to look up, although they still are tough.
Well, what are some of the initiatives that I suppose you and other players within the sector are taking to mitigate against the dire effects of the lockdown within the sector?
I think we needed to distinguish between essential services and non-essential services. So in the retail sector, the essential services were open pretty quickly, and foot traffic in malls were up, and there was a lot of activity in the shopping centres. And yes, certain sectors weren't actually reopened, but I think the industry as a whole rallied together. And for the first time, I think, ever in the history of our industry bodies and industry competitors rallied together to find solutions, and have been very effective in finding those solutions, making it easy for consumers and for people using the bricks and mortar, making it easy for them to return to some kind of normality in these environments.
Right now, Broll has got what it calls the Broll Africa 2020, a new vision. Talk us through that and really what it does for the industry across the continent.
Yeah, I think our new vision is, again, what lockdown has done, and probably before lockdown, the initiatives already started, was to say, how do we collaborate across the industries, across sector, because we realize that property is such a key player in creating employment, creating wealth, and actually sustaining many, many economies across the continent. And we operate in 15 countries, and we decided to launch this initiative to bring industry bodies and industry players together and to bring new initiatives to industry. So, this is a time of innovation, and it's a time of collaboration, and you'll see a lot of activity in the prop tech sector. So that is, taking the next step in the evolution of property and the usage of property and linking it back into technology. And I think those are one of the initiatives. We've also put a lot of risk items on the table that previously I think were glossied over by many people, and valuations and advisory. So there's a host of activities that are happening in the property sector to, I think, recalibrate the sector to make sure that it remains a sector that one can rely on, that is dependable, and that really can provide good investments and a good experience for the consumer.
Malcolm, is there anything from a government side that could be done to help prop up the sector during this dire time?
I think one of the big issues in government sector, and it probably talks more to local government, is the excessive rates and taxes that are levied against properties. And what value landlords or landowners are getting, because ultimately those costs are passed on to the tenants of properties. And I know there's huge, it's probably the largest escalating operating cost that we have at the moment. And I think if the government and the local authorities could take a step back and recalibrate and have a look at is there any other way to be charging rates and taxes to the commercial sector?
And then just your outlook on the sector. I mean, we are going to be moving forward from COVID-19, but the property sector, I think you will have seen even before COVID-19 hit, was in a little bit of a stress mode. Just the outlook going forward.
I think, Rafu, we're seeing valuations being more realistic. So I think property valuations are actually becoming more realistic. And if you have a look at the actual performance of many of the properties, decentralized properties, I think we're still going to find the property sector is a great sector to invest in. But you're going to have to keep your wits about you, because many occupiers of space, and I think that's where the impact is going to come. Many people using space, especially office users, are going to readjust their strategy as to the take-up of that space. And I think that's where the impact in property is going to come. If you own big commercial buildings, you're going to have to make sure that you're on the top of the game, you're offering the best service to attract the best tenants. But I think in general terms, the property sector will be poised for growth after this. Hopefully our economy grows, because as the economy grows, the property sector will obviously do the same.
Very interesting insights there. Thank you so much for your insights, Malcolm. Malcolm, talking to us there about the property industry. So if we take a quick